Oh yeah, Scott here. Happy Friday. Hope your week's been good so far. So we've had a bit of unpredictability with the Aussie and the yen. We have a mixed bag with those two currencies, which makes things a little bit tricky for those. But there's still lots to talk about today. Actually, quite a few things that I'll mention, and hopefully you've got the same sort of things in your watch list. We'll go through those right now. Okay. Right, we have first one, top of my watch list. Shall I just see my watch list? Aussie Swiss. As I said, Aussie's a bit of a mixed bag. It's not really convincing either way at the moment. So makes it a bit tricky. So we've got, it was hitting this strong on the daily, hitting this strong level here, which it wicked 2 days ago. Then yesterday it actually broke higher. And that DDP would therefore probably be a more bullish action today, an up day. But looking at, well, here we go, mixed bag here. Because of the news, we had this big run up, and the MACD since then has gone down. But if you look at the MACD for this run here, it's still very positive. You see it's climbing higher and higher and higher, the prices. But it's not much to write home about, right? It's just a little blip higher, as there's some big action here. So although this is a pip snatcher that's valid, it's a bit skinny for me, and I wouldn't take it just because, yeah, because of the mixed Aussie bias. So I personally would stay away from that. Aussie yen, we've got a mixture of both the Aussie and the yen, both having mixed bias. And what do we have here? We have this break through the daily 50, and it's surging higher, it seems. DDP would be up. One now supports that. And a similar thing here, although we do have a MACD that is trending down in the big picture, this latest run up is a bit better than the last one we looked at, Aussie Swiss. Bit more momentum behind it, and the MACD is supporting that strength. So this is also a possible pip snatcher, and this is more likely something that I would take because it just seems to have a bit more momentum behind it. So leave that one as a possible long. As again, if you're not happy with the Aussie or yen because of the not obvious direction that those individual currencies are going, then you may want to stay away from that one. CAD Swiss. The CAD Swiss has been hitting this level here, and if we look at the MACD, we can see these lower lows are much higher here. So we're looking for some kind of reversal, and what we have in the daily, we've from this latest pullback from this support level. Let's take this down here. The latest little run up, we had pulled towards daily 50, almost touched it, bounced off, and then a higher day today. Maybe that's a complex pullback. Maybe that's going to break through the daily 50 soon. So my DDP for this will be up with caution, because there's not much room in there, and it's a daily 20, daily 50. But looking at the hourly chart, it does look a bit more interesting. So we've had a pullback down through the 4-hour 50, and then yesterday it just surged back above it again. So it's actually a very nice looking CBO. Would I take it? I'm in two minds because of the, it looks okay. It looks okay. Not the best setup, but something I'd keep. I'll keep it on secondary as a, actually I'll get rid of that Aussie Swiss. CAD Swiss, keep that on secondary as a possibility. It looks okay as a CBO. It looks a pretty nice setup. Just the overall price action is a bit of a question. CAD yen. Similar. We've got it looks like a complex pullback towards the daily 50. Maybe we have a level here. Maybe we don't. Maybe we have a level here. Not that clear, is it? That could be a complex pullback up to 30.50. Looks okay. Very similar to the last one actually. We've got a nice break up above the 4-hour 50 and the 1-hour 50, and pulling back, it will give a CBO. And you can tell it's a pitch snatcher as well. Now this is way off. So the pitch snatcher stop about here. The CBO can go a little bit tighter. But 4-hour 50 needs a bit of time to catch up. So maybe the wider stop loss is a bit the safest thing to do. And we have a quite a level here, don't we? Didn't see that before. So that is a 1-hour support resistance level, which you see many times. When it falls back down, it's got to trade through that. So that is a bit of a red flag for me. Secondary, EuroCAD. EuroCAD running up, bouncing off this level, looking like it's going to go short. Do we have a MACD here? We have a basic general MACD for that whole last few weeks. Going towards the lower bias, and MACD in the last few days. No, it's not. Okay, so the general bias is down. Pull back to the daily 50 perhaps. The 1-hour chart price action looks a bit better. We've got a double top. Sorts. Trailing through the hourly 50, the 4-hour 50, and then if you pull back to the fib 382, which lines up extremely well with the daily pivot, then there's a chance also, we can also count that as a CBO. The 4-hour 50 is very close as well, depending how far it pulls back. So it could be a CBO in a few hours. EuroCAD, that's another 8 hours away. So in that time, we could have a gentle drift back. Could be a nice little CBO short, or you could even play that as a pitch snatcher down to the daily 20, or even a lot lower. So there's potential there. Pound Swiss. It's a bit squished in there. What's going on here? Upward bias, breaking the daily 50, bouncing off. In this level here, which maybe is all respect and reject. Maybe we're going up towards new highs. So we've got see what the hourly chart gives us. Must be a reason why I've got this on here. Okay. So we have a pullback to the 4-hour 50. If you're familiar with the ACB, Advanced Continuous Pullback, it's a pullback to the 4-hour 50 and then the trend continuation. So the overall trend is higher up here, then the pullback to the 4-hour 50, and then the uptrend continues. So although the ACB is not a very clean wedge pattern, you could class that as an ACB, and if you had entered it about here somewhere, then you'd be looking good. So have from here, probably the best thing from here would be a pitch snatcher, quick 1-to-1. That looks quite nice. The 1-hour 50 is just behind it. That looks okay. And if we were going to class this as an ACB B, 4-hour 50 lines up the same as the pitch snatcher. Very, very similar. The only difference would be you could push the ACB higher. Do you have a level here? We have a kind of level here, don't we? Which we need again, which is a bit unfortunate. Bit of caution there. Yeah. So that is not great, is it? Because of that level, we're going to be trading through that. If you can get a pitch snatcher before those highs, then that could be worth doing. As an ACBB, probably not because of that level. Okay, let's look at QBCAD. Up to a resistance level, bouncing off the last couple of days. Anything on the MACD from here to here. Yeah, it's dropping off. There's a slight MACD there, not that clear. But we've got a bearish action in the last couple of days. Hopefully that'll continue. And on the hourly chart, we have a pull back from these highs. 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections of this level. Pull back to the 1 hour 50. And then we're looking for a complex pullback to the 1 hour 50 to 382, which is also the daily pivot as well. So that could be a pip snatcher. No, it can't, because the 4 hour 50 is in the way. It can't be a pip snatcher. Can't trade through the 4 hour 50, but with an IBO C, because we've already hit the 4 hour 50. IBO C, we can trade that down to a long way towards the daily 50. So a lot of potential there. Should that pull back and give us a nice entry. This is a good launch pad here with all these rejections. So hopefully that could be a nice little short play. Kiwi Swiss. Again, we've got not a great price action, but we've had a bit of a run up and a pullback. Now, the reason this is on here as an up, we also had a bit of bullish action yesterday, but we've got another ACV. So it's not again, not the prettiest, but we can kind of get a wedge pattern in there. Looks okay. Rejected the 4 hour 50 very, very well. Could be entering around here somewhere. So you'll really be up 1% or so, maybe 2. And then what I'm looking at now is the IBO long. So that's a little bit squished in here. It's looking pretty nice. So the fib from here, or from these lows here, up to the highs, pull back to 382, lines up very well with the 1 hour 50. It's a little bit tight, but it still looks nice. Price action is pretty good, especially for Kiwi Swiss. It can often be quite wild. It's looking pretty controlled. That pulls back just into 382 and the daily pivot. That could be a pip snatcher long, or you could even take that up to highs and as an ACBB, which is basically an IBO with the 4 hour 50 behind us as the launch pad instead of trading into it with an IBO. So we can touch those highs or even higher. So that looks quite a nice little setup. Now the ones that are set up right now, there's a few here which are lining up for possibly later today or tomorrow. Aussie CAD, we've had suggested yesterday that it's going to go short soon. And we've had some bearish action yesterday, so that looks good for a bearish trade. Now we've had this trend line here. I had this trend line in here, and it's rejected it many, many times. They rejected it again last night. Once they're rejecting it right now, so it does break through that. It could be off to the races. It could be quick down, pull back to the trend line, maybe. If that's the case. And 1 hour 50, maybe not quite as far away as that. This could happen pretty soon, actually, because we're already breaking the 1 hour 50. And then trade that short down to the daily 20. So that could be a nice little trade short. Aussie Kiwi. We had a really bullish day 2 days ago. Yesterday we had a doji. Doji means either a reversal. We've had no deceleration. But with this pair, we often get like here, reversals just on the next day. Doesn't always need deceleration, but we prefer to have it. But we can just mean a pause before the trend continues. So what does the 1 hour chart give us? That'll give us a good clue. And it does. MACD, these highs drifting upwards, MACD downwards quite severely. So that to me is a reversal. So we need to see this break down below the 1 hour 50, pull back, and then we can have a short trade. So that looks nice set up for maybe even later today. Aussie dollar, similar kind of thing. Been trending up quite nicely. Doji yesterday, could be a reversal, could be continuation, but we've had a definite MACD divergence there, and MACD is trending down. So again, a break of the 1 hour 50 pullback, that'll be a nice trade short. Euro Aussie, similar but in reverse. So we've had, this is today here, isn't it? So we've had this downward trend. Is it going to reverse? Doesn't look like it at the moment, but if we do look at the 1 hour chart, we have this amazing trend line, which only got broken once here, and respected, again, and it's hugging it at the moment. When that breaks, that could break very quickly. So we could have a quick surge through the 1 hour 50, pull back, and then trade the 4 hour 50 or even up to the daily 50. So that could be a nice one to keep an eye on, and that could break away any moment. And the trade, that trade could set up later today or even tomorrow morning. Now, another thing I noticed here, this is perfect for an SBO. If you're the 1 hour chart is perfect for an SBO. There's not really any good deceleration here. So the daily chart is not looking great for an SBO, because DDP, if this would probably be short. It is decelerating a bit, but not much. So maybe not for an SBO, but that had the daily had some kind of deceleration, this is a perfect looking trend line to crack for an SBO long. As soon as you get a 1 hour close above this trend line, we can enter. I'll be entering here somewhere. Stop just below these lows, and then we can then just sit back while all the action takes place and trade it right up to a daily 50 as a 4%er. So that's interesting. Okay, last one I look at is pound Aussie. So pound Aussie, Euro Aussie, not too dissimilar at all. Pound Aussie has much better deceleration. As you can see, low test followed by a doji. Looking for it to go up today. We don't have an amazing trend line, unfortunately, but we do have a break. We've got an uptrend in place, and 1 hour 50 is being tested. When it does break, pull back, that will be a nice little trade long. So there you go. That's what I've got. Twiddling barking dog. So yeah, a few things to keep an eye on, a few things to be wary of. I wish you best Friday. Try and keep out of the markets over the weekend. Because who knows what's going to happen. And I will catch up with you on Monday. Have a great weekend. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.